So yeah, guys, man, this is your boy here, Roger here, now alongside one of my colleagues, someone I had known for a number of years. First time you see her, I was on the way to a concert many years ago, many years ago, and she's look older than me. Like she was more of a college, like a strong college girl, and I was just coming into the real world at the age of 16, and I recognized her from church. I was like, yeah, I recognize you from somewhere, but obviously, I now know her as Michelle Morris, and she's sang in a number of choirs over the years and in a number of groups and BVs, and I do count her as a more than a semi-professional singer when it comes to music, gospel music, 100% of the time. So just massively bigging her up because she needs to be bigged up because she don't like getting bigged up, but the reason why I've invited her to the show because of my expertise in the choir. I needed a bit more direction when talking about an amazing program called Voices of Fire, and I was totally inspired by it. It's really crazy. It's got the buzzword Pharrell Williams in it and whatever story, but the reality show is a good project. But I'm going to talk about it with my guest for today's show, which is Michelle Morris. Let me just bring her in. Sis, you there?
Wagwan.
Yeah, wagwan. I like that wagwan.
You're right.
Net too bad, sister. So, just to introduce yourself to everybody, still, before anyone goes, who's Michelle? Not many people will say that, but who's Michelle Morris? Now, you have sang around a bit still, not in a negative sense, but sang for some major. When did you start singing, sis? Let's get this out. Let's get this out there. When did you join Sunday school choir? I know you started. Yeah.
And had no choice. I had no choice. It's like, get to the children's church and learn the songs. No, but on a serious, my mom, she had the most beautiful voice. I remember I used to sit home just listening to her. She used to solo a lot at church. And I used to listen to my mom. And I used to be sitting there going, I wish I could sing like that. And I'd be like praying, God, please let me sing like my mom, because she just sounds so beautiful. She looked beautiful. I just idolized my mom in it. So then,
yeah, man.
So then we had children's church, and then you sing in children's choirs. Mm-hmm. And our children's choir was boom, and Open New Testament Church of God. Shout out to Open UT. We were boom, man. We were boom. And Jennifer Francis, Sharon Francis, y'all out there, you remember. So anyway, and that's how I started out.
Okay.
Then I got saved as a teenager, moved churches, still stayed in UT, was involved in national mass choir, district choir, under the leadership of quite a few different directors, but predominantly Audrey Mattis. She led the mass choir as well as the district choir as well. And then just kind of learnt a lot, really, throughout the years. And then I started joining other choirs, so not just church choirs, but community choirs.
Okay.
And now I sing with Town Gospel Choir and AMC.
Cool.
And that's it, really.
But that's it.
And every opportunity I get to sing, I just do. I love doing BBs because when I listen to music, I automatically zoom into the BBs. It's a shame. I should stop doing it, but I can't help it. I just love it.
Cool. No way. So and you must have done time on the worship team as well.
Yes. So
every singer does that. Like this guy is that burden. No, don't get yourself in trouble, Roger. That weight of Sunday morning.
The weight. No, seriously, Saturday night used to be stress. All the time, stress for the Sunday morning. Like, oh God, I can't eat. Automatic fasting on Sunday morning because it's just too nervous.
Yeah.
But I just remember my current pastor asking me to lead the worship team and just saying no. I didn't give him an answer for 3 months. And I was like, are you serious? And then I did it, but it was good. It was good for my growth, my personal growth. And then it kind of exposed me to all sorts. So, it led me to meeting other worship leaders outside of my local church, outside of New Testament Church of God, being part of events, some conferences. I even did some international conferences. And I've had some amazing experiences, especially in the last, 12 years or so. So I'm really, really grateful for that time that I was active in the worship team. I'm not at the moment. Also, was heavily involved in a worship team initially with Selvin Wright, Tehillah.
Oh, the Tehillah events. Yes.
A biannual event that used to happen in Birmingham. And it was just a night of pure worship, and it was like interdenominational. It was just about worship. It was just a bunch of singers that love to sing. You know, everybody wasn't necessarily about the singing, about the voices, even though some of us were perfectionists and we wanted to get it right. Yeah. Get it bang on. But it was just always a beautiful experience. Good. And people, but even now the testimonies were like, people are saying how they were moved, they were healed, they were touched. And that's what it's about, really. So.
Yeah, man. Most definitely.
I would go on and on and on.
Yeah, about the experiences, man. But you know what, sis? And something that I really think we miss in our community is that wealth of singing that we used to have. So, you know, 100%, hence why people always see me as a hip hop kid. But you know, and I know I don't really come from that background.
Learning, yeah?
You know what I'm saying? You know that I'm the same background of yourself. And like I said,
seriously, guys, Roger loves to sing like 24/7. I did not realize it. Like, I've been working with Roger quite closely of late, and every 2 minutes, and I'm thinking, I can't believe what I'm hearing. He sings more than me all the time. I love it.
Oh man, you know, it's like I've had to learn harmonies without teaching. We had no one teaching me.
Yeah.
So I'm just going.
We'll get you in a choir, Roger. We'll get you in a choir.
Oh man, as long as I'm doing tenor, like I said, I ain't doing no alto, doing no soprano, man. I get my bass voice and go yo.
When you told that story the other day, I was like, oh no, that's a bit harsh. I can understand why you feel a bit burnt, but no, man.
Yeah,
we'll get over the choir hurt, and we'll get you in a choir, even if it's for one occasion. Come on, Roger.
Just for the guys who don't know, like I kind of like jumped out the choir mode because at the age of 13, I kind of got squeezed in the choir, and you know, with the big man, I was the youngest at the batch, and all of them had voices that could sing in a tenor. Unfortunately, my voice wasn't ready for tenor, and I did not want to sing alto. You know what I mean? Because man don't do alto because you know man's voice. Man is man. You know what I mean? Like man have to go. My soul, the magnified. But obviously my voice, you know, I speak quite high anyway. But like, you know, imagine me without a broken voice, like ain't no chance hitting them low notes. So I was miming, and I was like, I ain't doing this again. You know what I mean? And then you know, the great exodus happened in church when everyone started listening to Jungle. And this ran.
I think we should do something about it. I think we should set a task for Roger to sing at least for one time in the choir, get you to sing. I think we should document it. I think we should have like a reality.
I think it's like Roger sings solo.
We follow the story, listen. And we get Roger at the end. You have the grand finale where Roger's singing in a choir.
I like to sing solo.
Folks, let's do a poll. Let's find out if we should get Roger to sing in a choir.
We'll
do it for next year, 2021.
I'll do Sunday service. Kanye West. I'll do lead for Sunday service. Do for Ultra Beam. Each Ultra Beam, and I'll be like this going. Listen, I could do lead next to Kanye and just get that tuning going on. Oh no, going on. But anyway, we're gonna get myself in trouble. You know what I'm saying? No, we totally are. But anyway, guys, we just have put some banter for you to giggle and smile too. But let me get my notes going on. But listen, there's a cool program. Voice of man. Got my notes. I was taking one in Netflix. Sorry, that's Roger Mourinho show notes. Let me get my where's my note there?
Right, get it right.
Get my notes right. Sorry, guys. I write in shorthand, basically scribble, and I'm just trying to get it encrypt them. But anyway,
you read your own writing.
That's the problem right there. But listen, I watched last weekend. Netflix brought out a program called Voice of Fire. Is that right? Voice of Fire. I don't know why I get the name.
Voices of Fire, yeah.
Voices of Fire. That's it. I knew I had something slightly wrong. And it had Bishop Ezekiel Williams. I have to get the name right there. Bishop Ezekiel Williams. I love his Bishop Garms as well in the program. He was there. He's actually the uncle of Pharrell Williams.
He's the Bishop of Faith Ministries. In Virginia.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, man, in Virginia. So anybody knows America well. If you do, everyone knows. State of Virginia, yeah. And you know what? It's Pharrell Williams, though. Anyone who's Pharrell Williams, And don't Google it. You'll find a lot of people. But anyway, a very, very good producer. Part of a production house. Remember Neptunes? And who is that female singer that had?
Female singer.
Yeah, I Hate You So Much. That track.
Oh, Khalees.
Yeah. Because they produced that track in it.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
So I mean, like people like they all came from the same area, didn't they? So I'm not sure about Khalees, but I know that Pharrell, Missy Elliott.
Yeah.
Quite a few of them came from Timberland.
Yeah.
Same area.
Yeah.
So they all came from the Hampton Roads, which is where the particular area in Virginia where this ministry is based. So yeah.
And that's amazing, you know, these little pockets of talent. Even in gospel, you have pockets of talent. You know what I mean? You got Detroit, you got, you know what I mean, Chicago. Sometimes just have these pockets of talent when you're going, how on earth have you just provided, you know what I mean, all this talent in, and I think we have that as also in the UK, but we don't want to go there. That's another conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Recognized.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Go Birmingham. But right, so yeah, I'm saying so we don't get anyway. Let's not digress onto that point. But yeah, so we've seen this cool program. Now we kicked it off. I don't know if you want to go into it, how you episode 1 says. Talk to me about episode 1. How you feel it all started and.
So, episode 1, 2, and 3 were mainly focused on the auditions, and you are introduced to the characters. So, you know, any kind of reality show, documentary, whatever you want to call it, they're going to focus on certain people and have a story from each person. So, I think from my memory, there's about 1, 2, 3, 4. There's about 12 people that they focus on, stories throughout the whole series. And a couple, about 5 stand out for me, and they've turned into my favourites. Not necessarily because of their vocals, but because of their testimony and what they overcome to get to where they're at in the choir. So anyway, so the first 3 episodes are about introduce you to the people and the auditions. The 3rd episode is where they decision day, so they focus on how they come about making the choosing the 75 singers that they have in the choir. And then the 4th, 5th and 6th, the 4th and 5th is about preparation for a concert. I think they only have about a month, isn't it? Is it a month or less?
Yeah, there's about 21 days for the event. I'm sure it was.
Something like that. So I literally have like less than a month to prepare for this concert. And then the last episode is about the day. So from the morning straight through to the end of the concert, and then what happens onwards. So yes. Take it away, Roger.
Okay, so what was crazy for me still, it's the first girl who sang, Elena. Is it Elaine? So I'm terrible with names, guys. Elena. And she sang first, in it. And it's little.
Was she first?
I'm sure
I know she was early.
She was early. I'm positive she was first.
Actually, I wrote her down first.
Yeah, first. And she was first. And she had crazy, sis, 1 ear. Like, so, like, guys, this is like watching the backstories, like you're watching X Factor, would you say? It's just like watching X Factor. It is just crazy because they go backstories on that people, and some of the backstories, which we're going to break down, is like absolutely, it really makes me feel like we just not reaching out to people anymore. You know what I mean? And the backstories. So you got a young 15-year-old young lady who is white, Caucasian, which whatever's the correct way of saying it. And she's like, you know, like she could sing, you know what I mean? She was a white singer, you know what I mean? More than all right, you know what I mean? And then when you find out Michelle, how easy or how much difference would it be to sing in a choir with 1 ear?
Right. All I'm going to say is there's people that have amazing hearing right and still can't pitch right, still can't pick up a harmony, still can't hear right, still can't hear what you're teaching them. Out of them sometimes. Yeah. You know what I mean? And this girl's got 50% hearing, and so she's born with 1 ear, and they were over her childhood was kind of building an ear for her based on the parts of her body. But doesn't necessarily mean she's going to hear from it. It's just for aesthetic purposes.
Yeah.
So she's got 50, and her tone. There's something that you can. Maybe it's because I used to work with deaf and blind adults, so there's a slight.
Okay. Yeah.
deaf people speak.
Oh.
You can hear something like it's like a kind of.
Yeah, my wife mentioned that. Yeah.
But otherwise, if you didn't know anything, you wouldn't have a clue. You wouldn't have a clue. And that at the concert when they share the testimony, everyone's like blown away because she's not a typical gospel singer, but she's got a beautiful voice. And I think being in the choir pushes her out of her comfort zone, and so she comes out of her shell a lot more. So I love her story. She's one of my favorites, by the way. She's definitely one of my favorites.
And what I would say, guys, if you're thinking, oh, you guys will give away all the stories, like, listen, man, you need to watch it. You need to hear the vocals. So we just say, tough luck. You should have just done the Netflix thing and watched it straight away, because we're gonna talk about it on the show, because
we've been on lockdown, man. You've had time.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? This is about gospel music of black origin, and this is a movie about black origin, origins of black. But but let me just go from the let's talk about, right, I've watched a bit now, guys. I don't really watch X Factor and all them things because I'm done with. But what makes me laugh with X Factor, them people struggle with picking songs. Yeah, it's so funny watching some of the judges. They literally said you're through after the first 3 words. With some people, it's just that we know how to get, God forgive me using this word, get people lashed in the first 2 words.
Some people would just start singing and they just start with a run, and everyone's like, yeah, you're in. You don't have to go through a rap kind of thing. Yeah, they're
literally picking people
up. We are a little bit
first
enough like that.
What's that?
In the gospel arena, we are a little bit enough like that. We just like, ah!
What was the favorite song? There's a couple of songs which they kept that everyone reached for. Was it It's not on that Sparrow. There's a couple. What was the name of the song? There's a particular.
There was "I Need You" or "I Need You."
Oh, they killed.
But I think they probably had a list to pick from, because I've noticed that some people are singing the same songs.
You think there's a list, or is that just the go-to track?
I think there was a list, or you had either picked from the list, or you came up with the song that they approved.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but the thing is, it's like when they started the notes, and it's funny because that girl who said that she's always sang with boys. Yeah,
I wanted to talk about her. I really did. What's her name again? Let me find her. Beatrice, is it? Beatrice, something like that.
I just got low singer.
I my own writing.
Yeah.
Brit, we call her Brit, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, she's a natural tenor, and she's always sang with men because her tone. Think Layla Hathaway. I'm not saying she sings like Layla Hathaway, but just when you think of tone, think of that, and then she just goes deeper. And it's just chocolate and rich and just beautiful. And when she sings, they were like lashed. They were just lashed.
Listen, so it's funny because.
But then her. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
So it's funny because I was watching my missus and she was just doing something, and then we heard a backstory, and I was saying to my missus like, yeah, she's sing higher. She's just a lazy alter. She's a lazy alter. And then when she did something, or missus just there typing things up and whatever their story, and then all of a sudden she went, yeah. I mean, she went on, and my missus like, whoa, like yo, like. That's so rich.
Go down there.
Yeah, she said that's so rich, and I was like,
maintain it, sustain it. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, she was amazing. But again, the story that sticks with me about her is she had something spoken over her that affected her, and so it just brought back. And I can speak to this. Like sometimes we have to be careful what we say to people. I can only talk about singers for now, but. Sometimes, all it takes is one person to say something slightly negative, and it completely trashes your confidence. Yeah, and it will go on for years. And if you're not careful, as my parents would say, if you're not mind sharp, right, you don't sing again. You know, if you're not persistent, or do you know what I mean? Just persevere. So this was her opportunity to overcome that, because she does share how that comment did affect her as a singer. And if she had totally chosen not to sing again, we would never have been blessed with that beautiful voice, that beautiful tone, unusual tone. So
She was good, but like, cause and the thing is, for me, like, some of the vibrato is that gospel singers have is so funny, man.
Standard.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, if you ain't got no vibrato, it's funny because you're looking at the gospel singers and the non-gospel singers, yeah, and they just go, but the gospel singer, yeah, all the way.
And the mouth's going in it. I was watching someone, Marcus. I want to talk about Marcus. There was one bit where the camera panned on him,
Yeah.
and he had the whole vibrato mouth going,
Yeah. Is that the guy? Is that the guy who used to sing for the group?
No. Marcus is the guy who, I don't know if he's Caucasian because he looks kind of mixed up. He looks Italian.
Oh, Italian, yes. Oh, the story on him, like, oh my,
So,
like, go on, you go for it, because
I was just talking to someone about this, and I said, every time I hear Marcus's story, I will hear him sing. Again, it's not necessarily about the voice.
Yeah.
There's definitely room for growth there. But every time I start welling up immediately, I'm just, because I think it comes from such a pure heart when he opens up, when he sings. And yeah, his story is just amazing. Anyway, you can tell the story.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, basically, a guy, he was singing, he was performing, and then obviously, get caught up with the moment and started. What's that? Well,
You're getting mixed up.
Which Marcus?
No, Marcus is the one that graduated from school and went partying. And
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he was doing performance beforehand. Before he went to he was doing performing, and so it wasn't a case he wasn't singing or whatsoever, but he was performing and everything still. Yeah, and he was ready to go to college and obviously do what unfortunate teenagers think they're clever about doing, is getting blind drunk. Obviously, I don't know what that feels like, but apparently it's a great feeling. And obviously, he unfortunately fell over in the bath, banged his head, cracked it, hit his back of his head, and then basically was paralyzed from the neck down. And
he died, apparently.
Almost died. Yeah, it's just.
No, he did die.
Oh, he did.
And he's brought back to.
Oh, that's what they.
Remember, he said that rigor mortis set in and everything.
Rigor mortis.
Because they find him, he just collapsed and was unconscious, well, dead. And then the police were called, and that's how he got found, because the police were called about the noise of the party, and that's how he got found. And he got brought back to life, started breathing again, but he was in a coma for about a week or so. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
Started this whole process of recovery, and he's got disabilities with his hands. So
yes,
because of the mortis, his hands can't open properly, and he's very conscious of that, and he's lost a lot of confidence because of that. So when he saw the opportunity to sing in a choir, he just thought he'd jump at it. But it was a challenge for him because he wasn't used to being pushed in the way he was being pushed. Beautiful voice, not necessarily a typical gospel voice.
Yeah.
There was so much room for growth there, and you saw him develop, and it's just interesting when someone gets confident and sure in themselves, how amazing they can be.
Oh yeah,
loved his story.
And this is Voices of Fire really got over to me was we have missed the trick with choirs in the UK. We have really missed. I say we. Church, the way they could interact with the community, and we're not talking about just church people came in to sing in the choir. There was such a wealth of people that came in, whatever color, creed. They had a young Philippine singer as well, and she can drop two notes as well. She, when she's ready, just came in, and remember she sang "Jesus Love Me," and she started tearing up. You know what I mean? I'm like. And what was funny, the judges, we'll get to the judges because they give me a joke, the judges were like, Jesus touch him, man, let fix up. And the joke is they were quite strict. They was like, yo, if you don't make it, man, you're gone. And first note, and
there's no callbacks, there's no second chances. That's
the one thing I think that's what UK couldn't handle, the harshness of choir life. So we're gonna get to the judges now. Obviously, bishop is bishop, going amen. It was tough, but there was.
Remember, he came from musical upbringing. So in the early part of his life, it was about music. He was a musician. I think he played multiple instruments.
He played a bit of keyboard.
He was a singer as well. So that was his thing, and he was heading towards that. And then at some point in his life, he realized the calling on his life to be pastor. And so he got ordained and all of that. and he's now past, ministering in faith ministries. He's now the bishop, and even Pharrell kind of talks about that whenever he used to listen to his uncle play, he knew that there was something different about him. There was an anointing on his life. To hear Pharrell talk about that is quite fascinating, actually. Yeah, because he said he grew up around that, so it's like, okay.
You would never think Pharrell, as much as we know as much as we would know Pharrell, American talent at the time, our generation of talent, we 100%, we all go church, yeah? You know what I mean? There's very little, but you can't, especially Pharrell never came across like church, yeah. Even his music style was like, there ain't no commission rehashed, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You know, like the rest of them, they just sound like some rehashed commission or you know what I mean? Like Boys to Men, you know what I mean? It's rehashed commission, regurgitated commission, Jodeci, regurgitated commission, you know what I mean? And Brian McKnight, you know what I'm saying? But McKnight, you know, all these guys sound like commission, you know what I mean? And you're like this, okay, cool, we know where you're coming from, but he was always kind of weird and different, man, and he was more. And so to see the background, it's like that other producer, the Soul. He did his own album. Oh, the neo soul singer D'Angelo. He's another one because his dad's a bishop as well. You know what I mean? A pastor. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't believe it.
So it kind of shows how there's so much more to people than what's been put out to you.
Yeah.
And it reminds you of, when people sign up.
Yeah.
Don't know if you heard that, my notifications. So people sign up, but they get signed by music labels and blah blah blah, and then they tailor you to be a certain way, and that's what they put out, that's what they market. But is it the real you? And so it kind of, again, that just made me realize, if you probably sat down with Pharrell, you probably realize how churched he is, how like in his kind of thinking, in his mentality. I don't know. It just kind of makes me. It kind of makes me think that when people are marketed, these artists are marketed, what we're seeing isn't necessarily what they're about. So, yeah, as you said, you wouldn't think that, but we don't know. We just don't know what they're like, what they're about, what's really going on inside.
For now, 100%, man. It's definitely something that we we need to kind of like really like appreciate the fact that basically some people got more sometimes we judge people by the book of the cover or what they produce, you know what I mean? And that's why it was really good to see Pharrell in that light. And the first day that Pharrell came in, because he wasn't there in day one, and don't think, guys, Pharrell's going to be like some Simon Cowell person. He was opposite to Simon Cowell. He was like...
He was ready to ball every 2 minutes.
He's like, yo, the stuff...
What are you dealing with? Oh, my God.
He's and they all sound like these.
His eyes always look red, like he was trying to fight tears. Oh my gosh, he's a bit of a softie, Pharrell. He really is a bit of a softie.
Oh, you could absolutely see it, man. You can see that, it is. But you had that lady, the voice coach lady who was doing one of the Georges. What's her name again? Nikki. Peggy
Britt.
Yo,
Peggy Britt.
She looked like she's 85 and she could still blow. Yeah, she could still blow like yo, this lady, she's not even.
She was so trendy and like quirky and just on point. She's one of the people that she'll probably get to 90 and she'll still be rocking the red hair and the.
Listen, she's rocking grey, like say grey's in fashion, not even grey. She's not even rocking grey. She's just like, yo, let me get that grey wig and put it on my head. You know what I'm saying? Not even grey wig, like white wig. You know what I mean? Like, and
it wasn't about she's wearing a wig to hide anything, because there were some days where it was just like natural hair.
Yeah.
And then the other days you see her in a long blonde one, a short blonde one. It's like,
man. Listen, she had her going in the shop picking what wig she gonna wear on. I was like, yo, like.
All right then, you can't be telling them everything about what's on. But it was really, really interesting, and she was amazing. So she's kind of in the Hampton Roads area.
Yeah.
She's kind of seen as a bit of a legend, like how we would view like Priscilla Jones from the Midlands.
Yeah.
Or Casey Regan or Cara Riley.
Yeah.
She's kind of well known.
And like Audrey Mattis, like these guys who got like quiet, like right over the years that had an influence in the area. Yeah.
And she worked with people like James Cleveland, the Winans, Yolanda Adams. So yeah, she's kind of known as a legend, and obviously they showed bits of her as she started out in a group choir kind of setting, and now she did some solo, and then now her thing is mainly vocal coaching. So she doesn't really do she does you don't really see a lot of what she does, but her presence is still, I feel like her presence is still needed because she's very motherly, and sometimes it's nice to have that mother presence there.
And what I loved is she still at the same time, and later on you guys will see, is how she was open to coaching people as well and supporting them, even if they wanted to do extra work. You know what I'm saying? She'll be open for people to come down, and she'll show them two things and how to do things and whatever.
Yeah.
And obviously get probably a brown envelope afterwards, but and give it like a hand. But like I said, she could, like, sometimes people age badly when it comes to vocals, and you can you know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't expect anything less, to be honest.
And this is another problem with our community, because a lot of us, was it us? I'll just talk about us as a community. We didn't really take the whole vocal thing too serious. We just blew.
Take it for granted.
Yeah, we took it for granted. And the next thing you know, people are talking like this at the age of 40. Yo, I'm about to sing a solo. If my voice keeps up, just a bit. And you're thinking, hold on a second, was that the same person who sang solo back in the day?
You know what? Do you know what, Roger?
Go.
In fact, no, some of us have taken that, but we've had to learn the hard way. And I'm not going to mention any names because it's not my story or testimony to share, but I will kind of tell the story, but not mention the names. There are some people that damage their vocals, and because in order to recruit, they had to learn certain techniques, and in that they learned how to sing properly, and then that kind of gave them the edge, and then they were able to maybe offer some vocal coaching themselves. So in that way they've learned. But sometimes some people have had to learn the hard way with nodules on their vocals, or just completely crashing their voice completely. And then some people, but do you know what? For some people, it's a testimony, because a lot of them heard you're never going to sing again.
This is it.
And then when you hear them sing, and you're just like, oh my God, you were told you're never going to sing again, and you're hitting them notes, you're smashing it. So sometimes you just have to hear what the doctor's saying and just say, God, what is your plan? Sometimes there's a lesson you need to learn, basically, because sometimes we kind of take our gifting for granted, and sometimes maybe even abuse it and not realize that we have to play our part in whatever. So we may be anointed to sing, but you have to be responsible for looking after your voice or developing
100%.
it, or what, do you know what I mean? Not just your voice, the whole body, because as vocal coaches will teach you, it's not just about that and singing, it's about everything. It's about getting enough rest, it's about drinking enough water, it's about eating right, it's about exercising, being able, do you know what I mean? You can't be overweight. You can be overweight and singing, but have you seen some overweight people when they sing? Some, it's like they're struggling to breathe, and I'm like, so the healthier you are.
I tell you what, they tell you who was the example of that back in the day. James Moore, Reverend James Moore. Remember him? He could blow, but he was a big guy. Yo, half his teeth got out because he had too much burgers there still. Yeah, and you know what I mean. And the thing is, these guys could sing, but when you hear them, when you really listen to it, it's like when they blow because they haven't got the capacity what you think, but they can sing. And then sometimes we had back in the day, the bigger they are, the better you sing. That's almost like there was a mindset to it. There's a mindset about that in gospel. Yo, you gotta have that big gospel singer. Yo,
give us some more chicken. Let me sing better.
You know what I mean? And he assumed that because the girl's big, she could blow. So when you had, when you had lights of Monica out of who was married to, is it Monique Walker? Monique Walker, Hezekiah Walker. A little bit. Whoa, you sure that's her? Give her 2 weeks. She still the same size. 3 weeks. You know what I mean? So no, 100% that. But let's go back into some of the backstories again. You know, we'll have to talk about the choir director, the guy, my dude. You know what I mean? The actual
Patrick Riddick. Patrick Riddick.
This guy, guys.
He was labelled the Prince of Choirs. What's it with us and labels? Why do we have to put Queen and Prince and King of? Why do we do that?
I am the Fresh Prince of Affinity Extra. I bring the freshest tracks to the station. But anyway, so I'm
the Queen of Tea because I love drinking tea. Yeah, make me a Queen of Tea. Why do we do that? We feel like we have to put a label on everything. In that particular area, he's known as the Prince of Choirs.
But this guy now, he's a secret sniper. throughout the show, he has such a nice demeanor. He's like a neutral. He's in neutral all the time. You know what I mean? And the only time he gives it away is when somebody messes him up in when they first sing, and he's like this. You're through. You know, that's the only time I've seen him get a bit emotional. But when it came to the choir time, the episode 4, guys,
he just became a beast.
Listen, episode 4 and 5, for the people who failed in the choir, you might get triggered in the 4 and 5. They're ones back in the day.
Roger, was you triggered?
You don't remember?
Did it bring back some old hurt?
Listen, I remember hearing about stories from mass choir. You know, mass choir stories, and then people here come back going,
Matty Moss Clark and
all these mass choirs and stuff. Yeah, even the small ones at my church, they'll come back with stories about, yo, so and so went singing, and they said, you come out, get here, you sing solo right now, and you're like, do you know the words? And what was, and I feel that because of our PC-ness, we don't really like that in the UK. I think in America they have that winner all cost mentality a bit more, and I think over here we're a bit more. Our generation, we got it, but I feel that we don't really give it to the youngers because the youngers just can't hack it. You go crying to the mother, you know what I'm saying? Where we couldn't go crying to the mother. Mother like, yo, beat them up more, you know what I mean? But this generation, I can't see us doing what you know what I mean? I don't know.
Patrick wasn't that bad. He was a beast, but it was a beast with a heart. So he knew, like, okay, so what cracked me up is when they were lashing it. You know, when you got the soloists to go up and do their thing, and they were lashing, right? But he wanted to run around and celebrate, but he's keeping his face straight. He's keeping the poker face because he couldn't be seen showing. Yeah. Maybe it was not showing any favoritism or whatever. Yeah. But he's a beast with a heart. Obviously, he needs to be strict to get the sound that he wants, the discipline that he wants in the choir. But you know that he had a heart. He was concerned about how he was very observant. I love that about him. He was very observant because there was that time where Marcus was starting to feel a bit intimidated because all the other lead singers were smashing it. It was his time to come. Yeah. And he was sitting there shaking and everything. Yeah. And he observed that and he called Marcus out and he said, you know, you okay, mate? You know, you seem a bit quiet today. And Marcus said, I just feel a bit intimidated. And he just encouraged him. And then Marcus just left with a different mindset. Do you know what I mean? And then he went home. Yeah. He met up with some other choir members, practiced his part, and then come back and smashed it. Do you know what I mean? So I like that about him. He was a beast with a heart.
Listen, man, this guy was he was definitely on it, man. And when I heard the choir go, you know, old school choir flexes. Because when I heard the choir, I was thinking of Sunday service straight away, just like I call it, AKA Sophie the music geek. Yeah, she straight away said, yo, Sunday service wannabe. Straight away she read it off like all the rest of us.
No, that's what I said. That's what I said.
You know what I'm saying? So we all thought,
I was like, Sunday service wannabe.
Yeah. But when you want, it's a total different thing.
Me the task of watching it. Yeah, I watched it, and then by the second episode, I was putty. I was like mush. I was like a bowl of mashed potato, man.
It's more traditional. It was more traditional than I thought it would be in terms of the sound of it, and they're singing all choir songs and doing my soul. Like some Orlando Draper businessman, like, you know what I mean? Doth magnify the Lord. All that stuff, you know what I mean? Sorry, before I start singing. Michelle just puts that whole thing on there, but that is a hallelujah. Hallelujah. So I know these songs. I don't know why I know these songs for, man. But it shows you how much impression it had in my life. But basically, just like the collective people, bringing people together within 3 weeks to deliver songs that they were delivering, you know what I'm saying, at the mic, and then a choir that doesn't know each other. You know, when you got that whole groups and communities, these are a group of individuals. But talking about individuals, the couple individuals who I want to pull out definitely to keep an eye out for is the guy with the one arm, sis. Like, his story broke me.
Keith Ball.
He broke me because
with the Mohican.
Yes, listen, this geezer, even I can tell he could sing. Like, I was like, yeah.
Like that. Just wave your hands, Dave. Wave your hands. Yeah. He went up for his audition, and they were like.
And you know what is? I have to wear gospel singers.
His harmony, and it's pretty kind of, it's quite sad. But he don't let it stop him, and he sings from a different place. Yeah. Do you know who else sings from a different place? I know you got another person. Don't forget who we're talking about. DJ Damon.
I was gonna mention him. Yeah.
He was signed.
Yeah.
To Gerard Levert to some group.
Yeah.
And they were doing really well for about 4 years. Mm-hmm. And then because of some bad decisions, the label put them on the shelf, and it just went pear-shaped. But when he sings, another one, like, literally has a physical effect on me. Like, my eyes start springing, get goosebumps. When he sang at the concert, he sang Holy. Holy, 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 the hymn.
Yeah. It's when he did his song, and he just did. What is it with gospel singing? We just know that riff. We just did that riff, and everybody just knows. Yep, you know what I mean? He just did a riff. He did his whatever you guys do riff wise, and everyone goes, "Yep, I'm bored." And he just knows how to show his silky voice, and he just does the riff. And he didn't do as detailed as some of the other guys. You know what I mean? But what about? He did do it detailed. He was just good. But I don't know.
You know what? His story preached to me, and I wrote this down so I don't forget.
Yeah.
His story preached to me, and I'll tell you why.
Go on.
Because whether you're a Christian or not, your gift is your gift.
Yeah.
How you use that, right, is up to you.
Yeah.
And sometimes you make some really dodgy decisions, right? So he thought his gift was all about being a pop star, being in his group, whatever. And it didn't work out.
Yeah.
And then he's realizing now, and he told his story about being tired of going back to his family and saying that his family being excited about opportunities coming up, and then having to go back and say, "Oh no, it didn't work out." He said he doesn't get anxious about anything anymore because he's been disappointed so much.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when we go round and round the Ricky, and then we come back, and then God says, "Oh, you ready now?" And I feel like that was him. It was like God's like, "Are you ready now?" And then when he goes to sing to the glory of God, Jesus, that just spoke to me that when you are eventually in alignment with what God's got planned for your life,
it's on.
And it might not necessarily be as shining and bright and blingy as you originally thought. But I tell you what, when you get there, you just, you know what I mean? You feel like you've got some purpose, and he started to feel purpose again in his life. So
crazy. That was blessed, man. That was emotional, man. That was just like crazy. And you know what? The funny one is Pharrell's cousin.
Pharrell.
That was funny. Is it Zico?
No.
No, it's Zico. That's his uncle.
Lorenzo.
I'm using them funky names. Got a Z in it, man.
Lorenzo, man.
He could. Like, you know what joke was? When Pharrell was like this, who is this? And his uncle goes, by the way, it's your cousin blood. They go, what do you mean? You know so-and-so's son. Remember little son? And he's like, no, his dad and his uncle are mad musicians. And look at him, like, and one thing I must say, and I have to say this with all seriousness, I look at my children, I look at a lot of the generation that, like, my children's age, we were sport, Michelle. Yeah, we saw talent and never appreciated it. Now my children could have the raw talent in them to be great musicians and singers, but they don't get activated because they're just not around. Like, they're just not around it like what
Greatness.
we weren't.
Like, not exposed to it.
Not exposed to it. So when my son goes out to me to some of the retro things that I do, they go, "Boy, this is brilliant, Dad." But we had it. We had it every week.
Standard talk is like, that's some songs. That's some song from 20 years ago.
It's
you know what I mean?
That's Sunday evening service skills. You know what I mean? That's just like, what is it like? But we took for granted what we had, and that's the story of our community. And now
because we had it every week.
Yeah, we sport, man.
We had it nearly every Sunday.
And then now we're hungry. Now we're going, boy. You know what I'm saying? We moan about it, but we never appreciated it from a collective standpoint, and we never invested into it. And so that's why I'm glad to see, like, I just glad to watch this program and just seeing the talent pour through, the colours, the creeds, the stories behind each one, the little twin boys that came through, and different things. And I say people to watch it and just watch the heart of people.
Because the diversity,
yeah,
the diversity in this choir is interesting. You think in a choir, and then they make it, and everyone's got their place. And you know, I can identify with this choir because my choir's THDC is a bit like that.
A bit like that, yeah. It's a proper community choir, yeah.
Yeah, it's a proper community choir, and not everybody's. So I mean, they don't focus on who's Christian and who's not
Christian, yeah, and what church you come from.
On that. But you know, at the end of it, everybody's worshiping, everybody's touched in some way, shape, or form, and it might be obvious to some people, especially if you've been in church for a while, you know, and you discern, you know, you might know who's, you know, bona fide, and some that you know, but my THCC is just like that. There's some people in the choir that, you know, may not be professing Christians, but there's something about that draws them to the gospel. And everybody's going through stuff, and especially this year in particular, they've drawn strength from being around, you know, not physically around each other,
but community.
We're like a family still.
Yeah. So
and I've always said that, like, you know, it's really, really important that, you know, you still kind of maintain, you just show Christ. You should show Christ in all that you do. You just basically, so, and I feel like this is what Voice of the Choir, that's what they're about. And great opportunities have come. So by the end of the documentary, you see, they're kind of doing it, you know, at the end when they give you a little bit of a snippet as what's going on now. Yeah. They've done amazing things. They've gone on to appear on like loads of different programs, like Jimmy Kimmel, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and the Globe Gold live concert with Pharrell, where they backed Pharrell. And they're performing to over 600,000 people at that one event. And then they've signed with Pharrell and Columbia Records to do their first album. So we've got to watch out for that. Watch out for that, Pharrell.
No, it's definitely good. And I think what was good, like, we talk too much about the performance itself, and you can see the performance. What I love about choirs, what I really, really get, remember when we used to do concerts and the choirs would bring the entourage, they'd bring the families, the friends and whatever. Then when the concerts are empty these days, you need to get 4 choirs and you know you can't.
Right, you have to beg your family to
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, everyone's there coming. But it's so beautiful to see Marcus's wife and different people come and support the families, to come out support and just be touched and blessed by them. And as much as they might not be in church or might be in, you know, but they were blessed and touched by the songs and amazed, and they'll leave the place going, there's something different with that music. There's something that this is different, and it's not, you don't have to be that, but there is something powerful when you hear them vocals go bellowing through you, and it just changes people's lives, you know what I mean? And that's what I felt for whatever culture, whatever background they came from. They loved it. It's funny because the Philippine young lady, when she went back and told her mum about Pharrell was in the thing, and the mum was like this, he took a selfie.
No, it was the mum that goes, have you got your good bra on? That's the one that packed me off.
The woman, my lady. Oh, that was like.
She had a mum on speakerphone, and the mum goes, have you got your good bra on? And she went, Mum, I'm going to take your speakerphone. And she kept it in there. That's so funny. But sorry, Roger, cool. I've got a couple more singers I need to mention.
Okay, cool, go on.
There's Maria Robbins. She's another white lady, the one that was adopted as a little girl.
Yes.
And her adopted family introduced her to church, and that's how she started singing as a little girl. And she grew up in, she's another little powerhouse right there. She, again, not a typical gospel sound, but when they were doing the auditions for solos, he was kind of lashing still.
Yeah.
She was lashing. But the beast of beasts, Malvette Armand, she's the one that sang at the end, Roger.
Yeah.
The big lady.
Yeah, man.
Beast.
The absolute, like.
She's just like hardcore, gospel, dot ramp, just kind of, she's amazing. From an audition, I was like, and then she just kind of lashed consistently. She only have to try.
You know, it's so funny with some of them.
You know what the people that sing and they're just like, they're quite expressionless, and they're just, all that's moving is there. That's her, but she's still lashing. What the heck? It's just like, she's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. I loved her. I don't think there was enough. Maybe she didn't have a sub story. She just lashed, and that's all we need.
No, 100%.
I have had some conversations about the whole series. So most people watched it in 1 day, 2 days.
Yeah, it's straight. That was me.
Straight. Because you can do it in one day.
Yeah.
And my friend said that there just wasn't enough singing at the end. Like in the concert, she wants to hit
full song. Yeah. That's the only
so they
like,
kept on stopping to talk and to add the dramatic bits and the sub story bits and whatever. So that's one thing that annoyed her. And for me, and this is just me being technical, the choir at the concert wasn't mic'd up for a choir. They were mic'd up for a TV documentary. So when you're listening to the choir at the concert, it's not coming through, like whatever they're experiencing in the auditorium, it's not coming through to us.
Yeah.
So even I had it coming out of my speakers and everything, tried to get the full sound, and it still wasn't coming through. So those are two of my issues that I would say about this whole documentary is, in the end, you didn't get to enjoy the fullness of what the choir was about.
It's like the final. Nice. It's good, but it's like the final episode was like, it's held back. It was like there's a top on it. It's like you know, it wasn't a case of going, right, we're gonna do our performance, the full performance of this. It wasn't like watching Sunday service and you just feel like you're just vibing the whole time and enjoying the whole choir. It was just like, okay, yeah, this is just a backstory thing. This is not you're not gonna get the fullness of it. That's I get what you're saying there, but again, the process was fantastic. Watching the process, the rehearsals, the cutting people. You know what I mean? People don't realize, man, like if you're dropping off, you know, there's no passengers in this thing, you know, and there's no political correctness. If you're not good enough, you're not good enough, and the directors were strict on that. But it was great. It's just great to see, and I think that, you know, it's good to see programs which kind of is very positive. And what I like, especially in America, they always reach back to their roots when it comes to gospel roots. We're not like over here, they pretend like they've never gone to church until BBC comes to them and they go, oh, okay, you want to get paid for this? And they go, yeah. You know what I mean? No, don't take it personal, people.
They'll go from, I don't know, sex you up to praise the Lord, because that's where they're coming from.
You know what I mean?
I know sometimes we're quite critical about that, but they're acknowledging it, acknowledging where they're coming from. And one of the things that Bishop Williams said about why he's done this project is, he says that music transcends and it covers, he wanted to have a choir that kind of addresses racial divide and cultural boundaries. And he's basically saying that people tend to respond to the gospel music more than they do to preaching. So in his head, he's thinking, we're preaching, but we're just adding music and a tune to it, basically.
100%.
So that's his. And it's not just necessarily for the audience, it's for the choir members. That's what I've learned about being in choirs. Sometimes we're ministering to ourselves more than we're ministering to anybody else. Sometimes I get lashed. I've been time in choir practice when I've actually sat there and listened to what I'm singing, and I'm just like,
man.
You know, I'm in love with choir already.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like, because it's like the awesomeness of what we're singing, like this gospel that we've got. So
crazy.
Yeah, man, it's good. Watch it.
Yeah, man, definitely watch it, people.
Forgive me for being kind of like presumptuous in my thinking and like being a bit negative about it. And I know of other people I've spoken to them going, "Oh, I'm not really interested in me," but I'm like, you know, when you have time, don't kill at yourself. It'll be there.
No, definitely watch.
Just watch it.
No, 100%.
Check it out for yourself.
Great watch, man. And how much out of 10?
8.5.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that if it didn't drop,
it's something that's close to my heart.
Yeah.
And how often am I going to see that on television? Do you know what I mean?
I have to agree with that, Mark. I thought it'd be something slightly different, and it ended up being something different than I expected.
That's me.
But it's a good difference, and it may not have ended how I thought it would end. But it's a great process, and the stories and the
everything, the testimony, man. That story, there is testimony.
Testimonies, man. Yeah, man. It's absolutely crazy, you know, and seeing what hope it can bring, and this is what music ministry is about. You know what I mean? And this is what music is about. This is what we about here on Affinity Extra. This is how we be extra.
Of course.
We bring great music to you, and I'll leave it to the choir masters to bring the choir music to you. But I will play a bit of choir music today. I'll try to anyway. Still, yeah. But but obviously, you know, I start the Edge show with a bit of Sunday service choir. You know, just to break it, break things up anyway. Still, yeah. But
and he sings along too.
Yeah, man. I just get the altar in. Legal altar. But anyway, but sis, thanks again for your time. And thanks for watching the show twice. For diligence. But it's definitely cool watches. If it's a terrible watch, it's one of the ones where you're like, really gonna waste my time. But definitely, guys, go watch it. It's 6 episodes, believe. Yeah, 6 episodes on Netflix. It's about 3 hours. Give yourself 3.5 hours.
3 hours.
Yeah, 3.5 hours. You got toilet break and drinks break in it as well. You know what I mean?
Popcorn.
And you can go watch it, man. Definitely, it's a good watch, people, man. Anyway, but thanks again for your time. This was meant to be a half an hour conversation that's gone over because it was such a great thing. We can talk about. I think we can talk about more things about it, but we cannot because we have to close down this interview right by now. But listen, sis, thanks again for your time. And Michelle Morris, our choir master. Look at her face, you know. Anyways, those things are 2 choirs, you know what I'm saying? You know, I could bring out Music Geek and we might show Music Geek. She an alto as well.
You know what? Sophie's quiet. She can cover every kind of section.
Is it?
I'm gonna check out her business.
Yeah. Okay.
Nah, she's really, really talented. So I think she can cover more sections, really. From what I know of her.
Okay, it's like that then. Okay, cool. Better be careful. Better sing a bit better at the beginning of the show. But no, sis, thanks for your time and thanks again, man, and bless you, man. Yeah, enough love, sister. Yeah. All right, man. Take care, man. Take care. Bye. Bless you, man.
Bye.
Yeah, man, guys, that was a great little chat with my colleague Michelle Morris. And again, guys, you know, check out Voices of Fire. Yeah, Netflix. Make sure you watch it, and it's a great show, and be inspired and enjoy the show, man. And this is me, Roger, going into the next track of this show, On the Edge, man. This is Roger Moore, over and out.